Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. Today I have a review on the next entry in the Evil Dead franchise. And that is on a movie that has spawned a lot of popularity for being one of the weirder franchises or weirder entries in the series and one of the more convoluted plots. And it does get very confusing, so that movie is Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. Now, this movie came in a Blu-ray double feature with the original Evil Dead, at least in my copy. Does have a few special features in it, and here's the backside for you guys. There's Henrietta right here. So, Evil Dead 2, what is it about? Evil Dead 2 is a sort of requel/sequel to the original 1981 film. This film does have some mixed opinions on it. I will delve into that later, but this movie has a weird kind of upbringing. This came out 6 years later after the original. And while they were trying to get this movie made, they actually could not get the rights to their own film, which is ridiculous. I don't even understand. It's got something to do with the licensed distributors, they weren't able to come to an agreement, I think, and they weren't able to get the rights to their own film, which is crazy. But so to counter that, they had to change up some of the story from the beginning. And so instead of Ash and his 4 other friends, now it's just Ash and Linda going to the cabin. And they kind of retell the whole thing of the whole story of part 1 in a 5-minute short beginning part, and it's a 5 to 10 minute short part. And after that, it cuts to the scene after where Ash gets thrown through the woods, and he's getting spun around, thrown, then he hits a tree, falls into a mud pit. So technically, if you wanted to, you could ignore the recap and just head straight into where Ash gets hit, and then you could start the Evil Dead 2 movie there. But yeah, after he comes out of the mud pit, he gets possessed by a demon. Fortunately, that's when the sun comes up, and the demons get scared away because they're not a fan of the sunlight, so they depossess him and run back into the woods. Ash, of course, gets in his Delta, starts driving away, but as he's trying to cross the bridge, he realizes that the bridge has been destroyed. And, he's crying upset because now he can't get out of there. Demon's chasing him. He goes back into the cabin, back to the start, and the demon leaves. So Ash is now trapped there for at least until the new survivors come. Meanwhile, Annie Knowby, who is the daughter of Raymond Knowby, Professor Raymond Knowby, and her boyfriend Ed Getley, they are coming back from an expedition. Annie has found the lost pages of the Kandarian, or of the Book of the Dead. And while they're trying to get across the bridge, they realize it's out because a man named Jake and his girlfriend Bobby Joe stopped them. But Jake and Bobby Joe tell them that there is actually an alternate route to get to the cabin. It's a short trail to the side. So they pay Jake what he wants to show them the way there. Unfortunately, that's when they run into Ash. Ash is thinking they're just some type of demon deadite thing, so he shoots at him. They tackle him to the ground, they knock him out, and throw him in the cellar. Now, after this happens, Annie listens to her father's recordings, and let's just say after that, that's when the demons and the deadites start acting crazy again and go haywire. Evil Dead 2 was really a mixed movie for me. I watched this a couple months ago, and I was hoping my opinion would change from last night. Unfortunately, it just did not. It didn't have the same grasp as the original film did, and that's really a shame because it has its audience. I will say that. Just for me, I didn't really like some of the humor in the movie, and just the way the story was told, it honestly felt kind of rushed. If I got to be honest, the story did feel kind of rushed. Didn't really enjoy Bobby Joe or Ed Getley really all that much because she hardly ever get to see Ed in this film. I won't tell you why, but you really only get to know him for like 20 minutes. And then Bobby Joe, she's just annoying. And then he's a dumbass. But the only characters I really liked in this movie were Annie and Ash, and the new person that played Linda for like the 10 minutes that she was in there. Other than that, this movie was just a drag. It's not a terrible movie. None of these movies are bad. Like, I can still enjoy watching this film. It's just, I would definitely pick another movie over this. I would definitely pick the original over this film. I believe the budget was increased, but there were some kills. There were some kills in this movie that I really did enjoy. There's obviously a kill. They try to reenact the scene with what's it called? With Cheryl when she gets attacked in the trees. She gets attacked by the trees, and she's having to like run away. They kind of reenact this in Evil Dead 2, but they don't go near as far. I think Sam Raimi learned from his mistake last time that tree rape doesn't really, get you too far in a movie. And that scene did have some controversial talks about it. I believe it even gets controversial talks now. So he tried to like reenact that in a less gruesome and graphic way. Bobby Joe just gets tangled up in the trees and killed instead of just, fondled and stuff like that. It's less disturbing. Other than that, I'm not going to spoil any kills. I want to save the rest of this movie for yourself. It's still a decent movie. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like it as much as the original, if I got to be honest. It does have its fans. I will give it that. Bruce Campbell comes back to play Ash. I think he does an amazing job with the character. I honestly like this Ash better than the first one. First Ash was just kind of, just nerdy and didn't really pose much of a threat to the Deadites, really, until the very end. This Ash, though, looks badass. This is the scene this is the movie where, of course, he gets his chainsaw hand and where he quotes that famous line, groovy, he's able to cut off his hand after he gets possessed because the Deadite Linda bit it, gets possessed, and he says, "Who's laughing now?" Cuts his hand off. That was my favorite scene in the whole movie. Honestly, that and when he's suiting up to battle a Deadite in the cabin. I won't tell you what Deadite he's battling up for, but I do enjoy that scene, especially when he says groovy. Sam Raimi is once again an amazing director. He did an amazing job with the Spider-Man trilogy. Definitely had a bigger budget for this film. Now, he did try to get around, I believe this film was going to get an X rating, so he had to cut a lot of the scenes from the original cut. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see that. But in one part, he does have to make the blood, he makes the blood green to not get like an X rating, because that's what the MPAA was threatening to do to him in this film. So he had to make the blood green. And one of the kills, he made the blood green. Other than that, it was all red. But the suspense in this movie, wow, does improve. I will give it that. Does improve, especially with the makeup. That has improved a lot. So this film does have some positives for me. It's not a terrible film. Definitely could get some enjoyment out of this. I would rewatch it again if I was given the opportunity. But if I could pick the original over this, I probably would. This may change, though. This may change. Army of Darkness. I still have Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead remake to go. Then, of course, Evil Dead Rise is coming out either this next week or the week after. So, yeah. But other than that, this movie got mixed reviews on it. It was all right. Anyway, that has been my review on Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. It's a pretty alright film. If I'd rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about a 7. Wasn't my favorite. Definitely would pick the original over this, but still had some great kills and would recommend it if you're starting out in the Evil Dead franchise. So, what is everyone's thoughts on Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would really love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching this horror movie review. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless, and have a good day. Bye, everyone.